So I had surgery almost a week ago. Orchiectomy is what they call it. Basically, I don't want to make this too not safe for work, but it's look it up. It's a permanent transgender surgery. They also give it to men with testicular cancer. Um, but it marks a huge milestone for me, and I kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it, not just in text form. I've been doing a lot of text posting this week on various social medias. Um, but this one I kind of wanted to do a video about because there's more to this than I think just text can convey. Because you see, with my transition so far, my trans egg cracked in May, and it's currently January of the next year. So it's been what 7 8 months, something like that, because it's near the end of January. It's almost February, and it's everything I've done up to this point has technically been reversible. You know, I haven't really wanted to reverse anything, but technically it's all been reversible. Even the hormones that I started taking, like the changes that they have brought on, all of them except for maybe like you know these are reversible. And even those, like they're not. If I wear the right things, I could just look like a fat guy. So like at any point during this transition, if I for whatever reason suddenly wanted to like be like, you know what, forget it, this was wrong, this was a bad idea, I'm just going to go back, even like my name changes and all the legal stuff, technically I could reverse that probably easier under the current administration, because anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But like this is everything up to now has technically been like something you try, and then and if it works for you, you keep on the path. But what I did last week was the first thing that is 100% irreversible. There is no going back from an orchiectomy. All right, they take out the testicles. That's what they do. Um, and and you can't put those back in. That's it. That's it. They're gone. I'm now infertile. I am now completely without a source of testosterone other than like adrenal glands do a little bit, but my main source of testosterone is gone. And which means that I'm reliant now on estrogen pills in order for like my bones to not turn into dust, which would not be great. Um but it's interesting because all throughout this, I almost from like week 2, I would say like this has been a surgery that I've wanted and I've wanted, and I've thought about other surgeries too, and some of them I want more than others, and but all of them have been like, yeah, probably, or I think that's what I want. And some of them have been, more definite, and some of them have been less so. It just depends on things change all the time with where my journey wants to take me, and I don't really do anything unless I'm like super 100% sure about it. But this is what I was super 100% sure about right from like week 2. I knew that in order to get my hormones correct, in order to get my levels correct, I wanted this done, so I did it. And it took, I had to jump through 1,000 hoops. I had to tell so many doctors that yes, this is something I want. I had to tell a therapist. I had to get a letter from them. I had to tell a nurse and the actual doctor, and jump through all these different consent forms. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Yes, I'm sure I know what I'm doing. Are you absolutely sure? Because you can't change this. Yes, I'm absolutely sure. I'm not having kids anyway. I'm 42. They were like, well, do you want to freeze some sperm in a sperm bank? And I'm like, no, I'm 42. I'm not having kids. Even if I had kids at 42, there's increased risks of birth defects and things. And plus, I just don't see that happening for me anyway. So I did it. And it's been an interesting recovery. The recovery's gone relatively fine. Like I said, I'm only a week out, but there haven't really been any complications. I don't want to go into details on that because it's not important. But what hit me today, and why I kind of wanted to talk about this in a video instead of just making a text post is I got back they give you, I guess it's not really a lab result, but it's like they send you a little thing that's like, these are the details of the results of your operation. And they went into detail saying exactly what they took out and what form it was in. And it was interesting because it was like, you know, they're using the medical terms for the 3 things they took out and the appearance of them and the size of them and all these different things. And for some reason, reading that, even more so than having the actual surgery and the recovery so far, made it hit me that this is permanent. Not just permanent, but this has happened. This has been, there's no going back from this point. No matter what laws are passed, no matter what I might suddenly change my mind or whatever, this is permanent. Okay? And that's huge. Imagine a part of you that's been a part of you your entire life, and I'm 42 years old. A part of you that has been there the entire time, and now it's not there anymore. And what's more, you chose for it to not be there anymore. And it's not like a tumor that was cut out of you. And it's not like it was an accident and now you have to deal with the aftermath. This is something you've chosen. And I have so many interesting emotions about it. And I just kind of want to work through that a little bit here because it's, I think they're all positive, but it's not just like, hooray, yay, I'm happy that this happened, let's move on. It's more like, oh my gosh, I did this. Like, you know, I've never been married, but I feel like this is the kind of thing that like, if you get married or you buy a new house or you do something that's so life-changing and then it's something you wanted to do, but you kind of have to sit there when it's new and just be like, let the enormity of it sink in and be like, oh my gosh, I own a house. Oh my gosh, I'm spending the rest of my life with a person. And even those aren't permanent. You can lose a house. You can get divorced. You know, this is permanent. This will never change back. And I have to sit with that. And I know I'm repeating myself, but that's kind of the overwhelming feeling, is that it's a feeling of like, whoa. Keanu Reeves Matrix style, just like, whoa. You know? But I did it for a reason. It wasn't just on a whim, and it wasn't just because sunk cost fallacy, you know. This, and it's still really early. Oh, I got my little things there. This is still relatively early in a transition, but yet not so early that everything is still like new. You know, one of the guidelines they give you, it used to be that you had to wait a year before you had like these serious things done, and they reduced that to 6 months with the WPATH guidelines. And for me, it's been like 7-8 months. And I've known I've wanted this because, and I've talked about this in other vlogs and other posts, so I don't want to get too into it. But once I realized I was trans and I knew it, I've asked myself every single day since then, do I actually know it? Because this is what people ask me. this is what, whenever I talk to people who don't know what being trans is, or this is a new thing for them, they're always just like, assuming they're being honest with me, they're just like, where did this come from? We never saw this in you. Are you sure that this is something that you want? Are you absolutely sure? Because we haven't seen this in you. Because their perception of what being trans is mistaken, usually. It was for me for decades. And the truth is, there isn't like a logical thing that I can point to and be like, this science proves that being trans is the best option for me. I mean, there are scientific things I can point to, things like brain scans and how your brain develops, in utero and stuff like that has been scientifically proven that being trans is not like a mental illness any more than any other, like having blue eyes is an illness. It's just a certain state of being, I guess, an identity. But just to make sure, because so many people ask this, I have to ask myself, and it's usually like shower thoughts, where your mind is drifting and you're just like, you do those mental exercises and you think, what if I didn't transition? What if, like, how would I feel if tomorrow I woke up and I made the decision to detransition? If I was like, nope, I was wrong. I'm going to go back to the way things were before because, because X, Y, whatever reason you have. How would that feel internally? And every single time I think about that, I'm like, no. Transitioning is correct. This is what I need to do. And honestly, it's dumb that I can't have a more, like, quote unquote logical reason for transitioning, that I can be like, point to the flow chart and have all cisgender people be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If I was in your position, I would also do this. But the truth is, you're not in my position because I have a different brain makeup than you do if you're cis. And that manifests itself. It's almost a spiritual feeling, to be honest with you. It feels very much like things, like truths that people learn in spiritual ways. I was religious for a good 30 years in the LDS church, and even since then, I've considered myself somewhat agnostic. I think I believe that there are scientific explanations for spiritual things I felt, but that doesn't make them any less meaningful. So I think that my spiritual experiences within the church don't necessarily mean what the church tells you that they mean, but that's a whole different topic. But the point is that what I've felt since transitioning has been deeply spiritual. And so when people ask me, why are you trans? Why are you transitioning? It's like asking someone, why do you believe in God? Or why do you believe in whatever you believe in? At a certain point, you can't give an answer that will satisfy someone who isn't in the place that you're in. And that's what this is for me. And I hope that by describing it like that, and maybe those of you who are trans or trans allies can use that kind of language to relate to, especially the religious people who don't like us. It's the same type of truth. So with that said, let's get back to the surgery I had. So I without those, now that I'm post-orchiectomy, my testosterone levels, which were always way too high for like a standard adult woman, like standard adult woman has like between, I think, 30 and 100 units. I don't remember what the unit is, but however they measure it's between like 30 and 100. I could be wrong. But mine was at 200, and like a standard male is like, I don't remember what it is. I should have remembered the numbers. I just remember the number 200 was 100 too high of even the highest like threshold for an adult woman. Um, and I was taking testosterone blockers, and I was and suffering from the side effects of those. Like I had to use the bathroom a lot. Um, and it was like the only way to get that down any lower would be either to take a ton more of those and suffer some serious like health risks with it, or to have this procedure. So this really was the only way for me to actually like get my hormone levels where they need to be. So it's worth it. It's only been a week, so I have no idea like exactly how that will affect how I look, how I feel, because it will take a few weeks to kind of really like for my body to stop healing, first of all, to finish healing, and then to for changes to happen. I've been on hormones for a good 7 months now, and you can see some changes. I mean, there's these. Oh, I just hit the desk. No, that was with my. Never mind. That was with my chair. I hit the desk. And some of this is padding, but like I feel like my face hasn't changed a ton. If it has, it's been very subtle. Like you take a picture of me from like right after I transitioned, when I hadn't taken any hormones, and then you look at me now. I mean, I'm wearing makeup and I've got different hair. This is unnatural. I guess I could say, but the face itself, I don't feel is hugely different. That might change now that I've got my testosterone levels down. I might finally resemble the person that I want to see. That I feel like is more me than my face has ever felt. I've been posting some pictures recently on various social medias, and it's the strange thing is that I never used to like posting pictures of myself before before I discovered I was trans. Like there were parts of my appearance that I liked, like my hair. I've always liked my hair color, my eye colors, this nice shade of blue. I think it's nice. But like the overall package, I've never liked. I was always just like, at best, I tried to convince myself that I looked okay. That I was just kind of like, maybe somebody will think I'm cute. But when I look at me, I'm just like, at best, I was okay. And usually it was more like, it's not very attractive. And I'm not necessarily like a supermodel or anything. And I'm not going to win any beauty contests, probably. But when I look at my face now, it's almost the same face, but the context is so different. Like, one of the reasons I posted so many pictures of myself is because I like looking at myself. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, like I'm so pretty, but in a way that I've never felt attractive before. And not necessarily like attractive, like sexy. I mean, maybe somewhat, but I've never felt like I looked at my face and felt positive about it until all of this happened. And now I do. And that means so much. And any chance to continue that journey, even if it means I'm now infertile, even if it means I've taken a step that is completely irreversible now. Everything up to this point could technically be reversed, but now it's irreversible. I am on this path, and it's fantastic, and it's huge, and it's mind-blowing, but it's me. It's so that I can finally exist as me. So that I can look in the mirror and like what I see. So I can go outside and be the person that I've always been meant to be. And it's a spiritual thing. And it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, Thank you for listening. I know this was a little long and rambly. I usually try to keep these around 20 minutes ish, even if they're just rambles. And I've had a lot of time to think because I've been basically at home for a week with literally nothing else to do but kind of sit around and recover. So, thanks for listening and watching, and you're all beautiful people, and I hope that you find your own type of beauty. Sorry, the reason I shook my head is because I was trying to fix my bangs, which are clumping. Anyway, I hope your bangs, I hope that I hope your bangs are beautiful. Why not? You got great bangs, whoever you are. Probably. I don't know. I can't judge your bangs, but you're beautiful anyway. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'll sign off. Thanks.